Hello, this is Bitterlin, and today we are doing another tier list because why not, right? Okay, let's start. Crystal Ball. Crystal Ball allows you to predict three dice on your tray when you roll it into the board, and it's a B tier. Dice predictions are pretty good. This used to be A tier or even S tier, but now there are a lot of trinkets and a lot of items which you can use to predict pretty consistently. So when prediction was pretty rare in the game, this used to be very good. Now it's okay. It's still pretty good, right? Okay. And Fishhook. Fishhook is also interesting. It's also a bit here. What it does is it brings back all the dice from your board to your tray. This can be pretty useful for a lot of builds. This is actually good for poison builds because you can take the poison back into your hand and roll it again, right? And the other use is if you don't have a very good way to predict or you don't have good accuracy on your build, then this will give you a reroll, right? You can take all your dice back and roll them again if you don't have a good way to control the numbers. This will help you mitigate this pain, which I think this is the intended use. But if that was the only use, it would be like a C tier. The actual use is that it allows you to essentially use your dice effect again. So if you have a soul die and you can roll it again to get another ghost die, and you have a ghost mask, this is like super good, right? Yeah, if you have a lot of poison dice, this is also super good. So it synergizes with dice abilities, I would say. A coin is another bit here. It's not intentional, right? This is not like, we're not doing tier by tier now, but it just happened to be another bit here. What do I mean by this is a bit here? Would I prefer to take a coin over anything in C or D most of the time? Well, we have, actually, you know what? I will put coin, it doesn't make sense. I will put coin here actually, and in the end I will show you what I mean by that. So for me, coin is the baseline. Do I buy something? Like, what would I rather have, crystal ball or one coin? I don't know, I'm not sure actually. So they're on the same tier, right? Same for the fish hook. It depends on my build, it depends on a lot of things. I would say like half, 50-50, I would prefer the crystal ball or the coin. So this is what I mean by B tier for the coin. Let's put it here, and maybe I'll bump it to A tier or lower it to C tier because, sorry, I had to take some water. Because I'm not sure exactly. After I'll see all the objects on all the trinkets on the tier list, I will have a better way to decide where the coin should lie. Okay, magic thread. This is an S tier item. It allows you to make another attack. Essentially, it gives you 50% more damage, usually, or less if you are already attacking twice. So there is a much better item that does even more. It's here. I will already put it here. The ghost die doubles the the dice you have essentially, and it gives you ghost dice equal to the amount of dice you have. So if you rolled like 25 values only in dice, this will give you another 25 in ghost dice. So yeah, it duplicates all your dice and their values. So it's better than magical thread, but magical thread is also very, like, this is the top item, and this is so good. It's either S or A. Now let's put magic thread on A because they just outscales it in most cases, right? There is like a world where you get most of your damage from trinkets, and then the magic thread will deal more damage than the ghost eye, but this world is not likely. So I would say ghost eye, then magic thread. Let's see if I bump magic thread to S tier in the end or not. Sorry. Bone bracelet. Bone bracelet is very good. It essentially guarantees a crit if you are 5 below or 5 above the crit range, like the counter range, right? Because what it does, Bone bracelet gives you 5 value, but you can click the bone bracelet, reroll it, gain 1 bone on your tray, and then the bone bracelet will only be equal 4, and you can do it again and again, so it will be equal to 3 or 2 or 1. So it's essentially worth between +5 to -5 because of the bones. So it really gives you control on critical values. It's very, very good. BA, let's put it on A actually. I might adjust in the end, right? If too much stuff ends up on the top, I might rearrange a little bit, but I don't think I will. We will see. I think it will kind of sort out because I can see the trinkets here. I've still not gone over the bad quote-unquote trinkets yet, so yeah. Anyway, Baba Yaga Finger. It allows you to reroll a dice or reroll a trinket. And I will emphasize the latter. It allows you to reroll a trinket. That means if you have a very good trinket like the Ghost Eye, the Magic Thread, this will allow you to use them again. So if you have any good trinket, you might want to wait until the trinket is on your tray before you want to use the Baba Yaga Finger, and then you can use it again. So if you have 1 Ghost Eye, it can become 2 Ghost Eyes, which is insane value, by the way, because you double whatever is already doubled again. So you essentially quadruple your damage from dice, for example, right? So yeah, the Baba Yaga Finger can be very good if you have good trinkets. If you don't have good trinkets, it's essentially almost as good as the best trinket you have. So if you have an S tier trinket, it's an A tier item to take. If you have an A tier item, it's a B tier item to take, right? That's how it is. But most runs you will have at least 1 S tier trinket. This is why I put it on A. And the dice reroll is sometimes nice just to activate dice ability again. Rabbit Foot is essentially Baba Yaga Finger, but if you reroll a dice, it will reroll it as lucky. It's very, very good to guarantee a critical when you need it. And yeah, that's it. It's just Baba Finger, but better, so obviously it's 1 tier above. The Icicle, okay. We will remember that everything before the coin I've already adjusted. So this is a D tier. Trinket, why? Why do I hate it? I don't hate it, but only if I'm starving for predictions I will take it. Why? Why is this not good? It essentially predicts everything that is on your board. All die become frozen, so next time you roll them, they will roll the same value they already have. It's not great because this prediction does not happen now. It only happens when you draw them again, right? So you're essentially setting up something for later turns. So unlike the crystal ball, which will give you immediate predictions, this will set up predictions. It can very, very situationally be better than the crystal ball. Like if you've rolled some stuff and you want to keep them exactly the same value, and you know you will need that exact value later, then this can be sometimes better. But generally, this is not I would say this is just a lower value way to get predictions in your deck. Let's push them one by one. Okay, so the Iron Hand, and I will explain the Golden Hand after. They are very similar. It will take the lowest rolled die back into your tray from the board. So sounds not great, right? I sound like Fishhook, but less. True. However, it has a use case that you don't always want to take all the dice back, right? Sometimes only taking the lowest rolled die is the best thing because you just went over the crit value. This is usually a way to go to adjust the crit value. Also, it will allow you to reroll the die to get the effect again. So that's always nice, but the Fishhook does that better. But I would say that just taking 1 die and not all of them gives you more control over what you want to do and more control to get that critical again. So most of the time the Fishhook is good only if you completely destroy the counter value, right? Like you don't always want to take everything back. You want to take usually one thing very specific. So this will usually be it. It's usually the lowest value die that you want to take back. And the Golden Hand is for the why it's one tier lower than the Iron Hand, because it's taking the highest value on the board. You usually don't want to take back whatever you rolled high, right? You want to take roll values and maybe roll them again to get high values, or maybe just reduce your over-critting a bit to get the crit again. So this is essentially the same as this, but it takes good rolls away instead of bad rolls away, quote unquote. It's not necessarily bad or good, right? But most of the times, right? Ooh, this is a hard one. Between C and D. Let's say C, actually. So what it does, it discards your die, your highest value die on the board, and it will give you a red chip instead. Red chips are better than dice usually. Not always, but they are trinkets, and trinkets you can use after critical. So, and also it's a predicted value. So you essentially get a predicted value equal to your highest scored die, which you can use when you're in crit. This is pretty good. It's just pretty good. It's not amazing. Like, this will not give you insane values. It will give you some prediction. It will give you some value. So it's pretty nice to have, but it's not amazing. This is a one-time use. After you use the red chip, it's gone. So yeah. So it's just not amazing, but it's pretty good. I think it's a rare or legendary even. It's not, it should be uncommon in my opinion. The broken crystal ball is quote unquote the worst value crystal ball, but it's not actually. It predicts 3 items on 3 dice on your tray, and it predicts them to be 1. So when you roll those items, they will equal 1. Why is this good? 1 is actually a really good number in this game because you can synergize with eye patch, and 1 is a very, very solid number to get critical. So usually when you try to get critical, you're just 1 off or 1 over, right? So getting -1 +1 is usually the type of adjustment you want to have in order to get a crit. So it's actually pretty good. And you will want to low predict stuff. It's a very, very, like, it essentially gives you +3. Of course, it disables the potential of the die, so it's not great, but it's actually, it sounds very situational, but it's actually good in many, many situations. I don't even, maybe it's even better than the crystal ball. I'm not sure. Let's say not really. So I think the 3 predictions is probably better than 3 1 predictions. But if you have synergy with ones, like if you have a great axe or if you have the eye patch, this can be better than the crystal ball very easily. And even if you don't, this is not a bad pick, by the way. So that's my opinion. Medallion of Greed, it's a D tier. It's okay. It's okay. It's not, like, I wouldn't say it's terrible if you take it, but it's what it does. I will explain the ability. Every time you draw it, the value increases by 1 until it reaches 9, and then it starts to decrease. And this, it doesn't reset every encounter, so it stays with whatever number you had from previous encounters. So if you have 7 in encounter A, it will start with 8 in encounter B, and you can get to 9 in encounter C, and so on. It's a pretty nice prediction, but it's only 1 item, so you need to wait to draw it. It's a nice way to add a little bit of prediction into your deck. It's not an amazing value. 9 value is not super great. Sometimes you will need it, right? Of course. It's not bad, that's what I'm saying. It's better than like most uncommon dice, for example, but I would say it's worse than the exchange ticket. It's worse than the golden hand. We just have a very much better trinkets than this one. So this is why it's going into the D tier. And this is either a C or a D. So what it does, and I will explain why this is different than the crystal ball. Let's put it on C. It changes all dice in your tray to 1 and it rerolls them into 1. So the reroll is important. This is why it's a C and not a D. Rerolling also enables the ability of the dice again. So if you have, again, a poison dice, for example, I'm using poison a lot because poison is very good. It will create another stack of poison on your enemies, right? So in that sense, it's very, very worthwhile to use it. But actually changing into ones, unless you have the eye patch, and even if you have the eye patch, it's not great, right? Because only if you have overcritted, this is going to be useful, but it's not like putting... So the crystal ball will have 3 ones in your tray, which means you can choose when to roll them. But here, you are changing all your dice into ones. It's unlikely that this will give you the numbers that you need. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not terrible. It might like lower the value like you needed it to, but most of the times it's going to be too low, right? Like it's like, oh, I fucked up. I need to reset without resetting. I'll throw a dwarven stamp. It's like a fish hook in a way. Yeah, it's like a fish hook in a way, but fish hook is better because rerolling to 1 is actually too low most of the time. You don't want all your dice to go back to 1. You want to be able to roll them again, and that's it, and then like gets different numbers because the good items have high counter values. So that's why it's not as good as a fish hook, in my opinion. It's a bit of a tricky logic, but in practice, you will feel it, right? Like you will feel that you don't want to throw the dwarven stamp and change everything into a 1, even if you fucked up. It feels bad. Right, stun is amazing. What this does, it decreases your counter by 5, which is not bad, by the way. You might overshoot, and you usually have enough. Like when you get it, you usually get it in the late game, and by the late game, you will overshoot by a lot, and then have this to decrease. Or you will have a lot of ways to gain accuracy, which means the -5 doesn't matter. So when you usually find this rock, it's the stunning rock, it's actually good to have it. What it does, except -5 to counter, it stuns your enemy if you put it on your board and you use a weapon. And stunning an enemy is amazing. You disable whatever the enemy was going to do this turn. Don't know how to say it, but this is just such a good debuff. It's the strongest debuff. The enemy can't do anything this turn, so there is nothing better, right, except killing the enemy. So yeah. Golden Tooth, it's either a B or an A. It will replicate a die. It will roll another die on your board that is equal to your highest die on the board, but it will be a ghost dice. So if you have like a 20, it will roll another 20, right? But do you have a 20? Maybe. By the time you get it, you usually have 20s. But not always. I would say it's an... Yeah, I would rather have this than any of those. So this is an A tier. It's a pretty good way to... actually, I'm not sure. No, it is an item. Yeah, it's a pretty good way to increase your damage by usually 20, and even if not, the duplicate only 1 dice can sometimes give you the crit. Sometimes you roll exactly half the value you need, so you can use that and then get exactly the critical you needed. So it's not bad. It's pretty good. Like, I'm not sure if it's an A or a B, I'll be honest. Like, I might put it on B, but let's keep it an A. I'm pretty happy with this, by the way, and I'm more and more certain this belongs in the A and not the S tier. Not looking at the S tier trinkets now. Board counter. Yeah, let's put it on C. Sorry, I'm still a little bit sick. So what it does, for every object in your board, the board counter will increase by 1, and the counter will add to the board counter value will add into your counter, right? So if you have 10 items on your board, this will be equal 10. With Dante and all the bones, this can become pretty crazy. It essentially compensates for all the bones you have. If you have two of those, you can have 100 bones, and then this will be equal 100. It can be pretty crazy if you do get two of those. It will even synergize with like Ghost Eye or anything that creates a lot of stuff on your board, essentially. Like, yeah, even the gambling, the exchange ticket a little bit, or gambling dice. So yeah, if you have a way to create a lot of useless trinkets like the chips, the bones, this becomes a lot more valuable. So Dante usually likes to have it, but other classes or characters can pick it up. It's pretty good if they have a way to create items. Okay, this is the best item in the game. I'll just put it on the top of S tier. It draws 3. Simple as that. You draw 3 objects from your bag. Nothing bad about it. If you have a good slim deck, which you should have, it means you get 3 more items, and if like half your items are A or S tier trinkets, which you should have, then it will give you 1 or 2 more A or S tier trinkets, which means it's just super valuable, right? It can have infinite combo if you have 2 of those and you have like an item that can draw. There are ways to get an infinite build that you can just kill everything once you set it up. I once had one run that when the endless mode was present, where I couldn't die because I could just draw infinite items every turn, and I just destroyed everything with turn 1. So I had like infinite score, but I died because I accidentally misclicked end turn at one point. I got 100k score though. Okay, anyway, enough rambling. This is A tier or S tier or A tier. This is between A or S. I will think about it again at the end. What it does, this is I forgot the name, stopwatch, I believe. What it does, it allows you to reroll your lowest die on the board 4 times. Doesn't sound amazing, but rerolling 4 times is a lot of rerolls, and it doesn't come with the caveat like the fishhook has, that it takes back everything or it takes only one thing. It's 4 rerolls for your lowest dice, which is usually what you want to reroll. And even if you don't want to reroll the lowest dice, you can kind of, if you want to like just activate the dice ability 4 times, you roll 1 dice and then you use it, because you will have 1 dice and it's always the lowest dice, right? So if you want to poison the enemy 4 times, all your poison dice, all this, you have 4 stacks of poison. It's very good. Like having the ability to put 4 stacks of poison or 4 draws. Like if you have a leather die and you use this is 4 draw, which is even better than the silver star. But actually it's just as good, because you use 2 items to draw 4 and here you use 1 item to draw 3. So in some scenarios this is as good as the star buttons, but you need to set up the scenario, right? Like it's not like you get this on your tray, it's immediately draw 3. You need to get this and a leather dice to get the same effect. This is why it's slightly not as good as this. But it's more versatile, because you can use it for poison, you can use it for gambling dice, you can use it for soul die. So it has different uses. And yeah, it's pretty versatile, it's pretty good. I would recommend you to take it. Khan's Ring. This is pretty great to get rid of bedeviled dice. Like if you fucked up, I would say, and this can happen, and mechanics that help you to fuck up people, like undervalue mechanics that help them to get out of situations. Like what I noticed, and this is also a guide, it's not only a tier list, what I noticed is people think about how they can do the perfect run. Like they don't take things that will help them come back if they are doing badly. They only think about the perfect situation. Like people are overly optimistic, and that's why people don't do well. This will help you do well when you're in a bad spot, because one of the common bad spots in the game is when you have too many bedeviled die in your tray, and you can roll them without reducing your counter, and then get rid of them because you threw the Khan's ring. Also, some items, mostly shields, have amazing critical ability. So what the Khan's ring does, sorry, I did not explain it. It allows you to immediately activate the critical ability of your item. Getting to crit destroys bedeviled dice. That's why I'm saying that this is good for a comeback, or like when you're behind and you want to come back to the game. So it's pretty good. It's between A and B. Let's put it on top of B, okay? I would say I would rather have any of this over this, but it's still very good. Like, it will help you survive, right? If you are doing perfect and you you think you can handle any bedeviled curse, because you have like a lot of lucky die and you have a lot of prediction, then you maybe don't need this, but it's pretty good to take otherwise. Okay, the crow foot, I believe it's called. It's similar to the magic thread, but instead of attacking twice the same target, it attacks all adjacent targets for half the value. So if you deal 10 damage to one character here, let's say this is one character, it will deal 10 to this, 5 to this, and 5 to this, right? Yeah, why I'm putting it beneath this is technically it has bigger damage potential, but the harder fights are against one target, and you usually want to focus fire. Spread fire is not as good. You want to de-escalate the threat as fast as possible. So you want to target fire one enemy, and you usually don't care as much to kill the other enemies. But still, this can potentially double your damage, but it spreads it. So it's not bad to take. I would say sometimes fights can be overwhelming, like you get 4 monsters against you in the Abyss on the normal fights. So this helps you get through the Abyss. Before the Abyss existed, this would be like a C already, but it's pretty good for the Abyss, I would say. So yeah, don't take it. If you find it just before you get to the Act 3 boss, don't take it. It will literally be useless. But if you get it just before the Abyss, I would say pick it always, almost. So it's not bad. And this is duplicated, so oops. Anyway, this is the tier list. Let's see if I'm changing anything. I would say this is B. This doesn't exist, right? Oh, oops, I can't get rid of it now. Oh well. Should I create another tier? Because like I feel like oh, and the coin. The coin is a B tier. I would rather have no, so yeah. I would rather have a coin, or I would be 50-50 between a coin and a crowfoot, between a coin and the iron hand, and all of this, right? Like 50-50 chance I will take this over those. So I think the coin belongs here. I will almost always take a coin over one of these. Oh, one of these. Almost always, but not always. It depends. Like, yeah. I won't explain every depending situation, but you get it. Okay. Yeah. This is my tier list. Let me know if you disagree, agree, want to add a comment, or yeah, I would like to, like, I don't say this is the truth. This is just my understanding. I play this game quite a lot, but I'm sure there are people with better opinions than mine. I just like to theorycraft. I like to, talk about the game. So this is why I'm doing that. Yeah. So if you feel like talking back or disagree, I would actually love to hear that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye bye.